Today marks 1 year since immigration enforcement conducted a massive raid at a Tallahassee construction site. You might remember this joint federal and state immigration raid resulted in the arrest of over 100 undocumented construction workers at a student housing construction project on Gaines Street, right in the College Town area. The massive response made national headlines that day and left a number of families scrambling to figure out where their loved ones had gone. Many were shipped to detention centers in Texas. Governor Ron DeSantis today touring the state's immigration enforcement efforts in South Florida during a press conference. He says local, state, and federal agencies teamed up to make hundreds of arrests and identify unaccompanied migrant children. Officials say Florida has expanded its use of the 287G program, which allows state and local officers to work with federal immigration authorities. In January 2025, Florida had about 5,000 designated immigration officers. Today, the state is close to 8,000.
The main thing that I think sets us apart, it required cooperation from all state and local law enforcement agencies throughout Florida with DHS in this really historic effort. I think the success has been really significant. And if you look at how we've worked with the Trump administration, there's not been a single state that has come anywhere close to doing what we're doing.
And of note, despite some prior reporting, DeSantis said today there are no plans currently to close Alligator Alcatraz, but did say that Everglades Detention Center is not meant to last forever.